Hey, what's up everybody? It's the Crypto Ginger here. I just wanted to briefly go over some information that I found very interesting when it comes to the timing of certain events that are getting ready to take place here in the very near future. Now, of course, I wanted to start off with this article from CNN where we can see that the stock markets will close on Wednesday to honor George H.W. Bush. Now, I'm not linking the passing of the former president here with any of this information. I just think that it just happened to be a reason why they could actually state that they're going to close down the stock markets on, again, Wednesday, which happens to be December the 5th. Now, of course, it just so happens that we see a Federal Business Opportunities Conference taking place on that very day. And just as well, looking at this, you can see that the main objective of the conference is to foster business partnerships between the federal government, its prime contractors, and small businesses. And of course, you can see that there are going to be a panel list of different types of representatives from certain companies. It just so happens that a panel member from a company we are very familiar with that has at least some interaction with Ripple is Deloitte. And it looks as though it's coming. We have a panel member speaking for the sector of Deloitte's Government and Public Services Department. So you can actually check them out. It's on www.deloitte.com. You can see that basically here, just kind of a quick synopsis of the Government and Public Services Department of Deloitte. But I found it very interesting that we have this company, again, speaking at this particular conference in regards to the federal government and, of course, connecting more, again, with these smaller businesses here. And I'm bringing this up because Deloitte, again, not only has had some sort of connection with Ripple, but they've actually had a connection with quite a bit of companies when it comes to the blockchain side of technology. And if you go to HyperLedger.org, you can actually see that Deloitte is actually connected to a very large member list of this HyperLedger. And if we just scroll down here, you can see there's Coil, there's Deloitte right there. And of course, just looking at the list here, I've gone over this in past videos, but I'm just wanting to stress the importance of how many companies are actually connected. And of course, you have R3, Ripple, you also have Swift just as well, but the list keeps going on and on. Of course, you can see that there's even academia that's involved as well with the HyperLedger, and Yale being one of those big names that everybody's familiar with. So again, quite a large amount of companies here when it comes to the involvement that Deloitte has and their connection there. And I'm bringing this up because if you have this large of a member list connected on the HyperLedger, and we have Deloitte talking at this particular conference with the federal government about their involvement with smaller based companies, who knows where that could potentially lead, and the involvement that the federal government could potentially have with something as big as the HyperLedger. And I'm bringing this all up because I believe the end result is to have what's considered the HyperLedger Quilt. And of course, this is all coming from hyperledger.org. And you can see here that it states that the HyperLedger Quilt is a business blockchain tool and one of the HyperLedger projects hosted by the Linux Foundation. HyperLedger Quilt offers interoperability between ledger systems by implementing the Interledger Protocol, also known as ILP, which is primarily a payments protocol and is designed to transfer value across distributed ledgers and non-distributed ledgers. The Interledger Protocol provides atomic swaps between ledgers and a single account namespace for accounts within each ledger. So we definitely have quite a bit of connection when it comes to these different types of ledgers and their involvement when it comes to atomic swaps between these ledgers. And really it's all done because of the implementation of the Interledger Protocol. And I'm bringing this up because this is how we connect directly to Ripple, because the Interledger Protocol is actually something that Ripple designed. You can see this on their website, actually ripple.com. Here I've talked about this just as well. It says Ripple is thrilled to introduce the Interledger Protocol for efficient payments across payments network. Of course, just as well, scrolling down, something else I wanted to point out says with Ripple and ILP, banks can leverage unlimited scalability and complete transaction privacy. This comes in addition to all the existing advantages of Ripple's distributed financial technology. One more thing that I'd like to point out here, it states that ILP will also enhance the reach and impact of the Ripple Consensus Ledger, which serves as the root ledger for the digital currency XRP. Digital currencies continue to play a critical role in the burgeoning Internet of Value. As always, our focus is to make XRP the best bridge asset for market makers providing cross-currency liquidity. So again, a strong focus when it comes to what Ripple's trying to do, even with the interledger protocol here, by creating this bridge asset using XRP. I really do think that the amount of information that we have here when it comes to seeing these companies correlate with each other, and of course getting involved with things such as the federal government, understanding that that's going to happen regardless if we like it or not, and of course having some sort of ability to have companies connect with the HyperLedger. And I've just found all of this information very interesting. I found one more thing that I wanted to talk about very interesting just as well. For those of you guys who don't know, there is a very large 589 XRP community out there. Basically, they all believe that by the end of this year, 2018, we will see a $589 XRP. That would take quite a bit from my understanding and research for that to even be a plausible situation. Nonetheless, I do think that it's interesting to read into what they have to say as far as trying to connect certain dots. And I believe as of yesterday, December 1st, somebody going by the moniker of Bearable Guy 123 came out after being in hiding for a while, and they posted a tiny URL with the reference in some sort of 0101 coding, which actually came out to reference the word 1 or the number 1, and the link actually linked directly to a Queen song. So all of these particular connections that were being made as far as people trying to decipher the riddle there. Just as well, I found that there was somebody that posted some information that was just too odd to not talk about when it comes to the 589, of course, and the end of the year. And it just so happens to be the National Lottery from the UK. And the same day that Bearable Guy posted that information, they actually had the lottery drawings, and as you can see on their website, you can go to it just as well. Their lottery winning picks were 5, 8, 9, 12, 31. And of course, the additional numbers were 49 and 57 for the bonus. But as you can see, what are the odds that a lottery would pick 5, 8, 9, 12, 31? I do find that very, very intriguing there. Let me know what you guys think about that. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching and have a good night. Bye-bye.